Hello everyone, it's DP Mash here. I'm super sorry that I haven't posted a video in literally like 2 months, but there is a lot I need to catch you up on. So first off, I got the flu and was stuck in bed for a week. Couldn't smell, couldn't taste, cramps, runny nose, the whole shebang. It was great. Then I got a job opportunity working with a new YouTuber named Labeled an Extremist as her co-host slash part-time video editor. Her channel is really cool though. It isn't much like mine. She generally talks about much more serious subjects, but I do think that her articles are very interesting, and she even has a blog at labeledandextremist.com. And just as a side note, if you go to the website, there's actually a special tab called DP Mashups Gallery, where you can check out all my most recent pictures I've been drawing. So you should definitely go check that out. Let's see, what else happened this month? Oh, you won't believe this, but I finally did it. After approximately 3 years of begging my parents to get me a kitten, I finally convinced them to say yes. Let me tell you a story. It was just a typical Thursday morning, nothing too crazy going on, other than the fact that my mom had told me the night before that she was going to take me to the local shelter in my town today. Obviously, I'd been begging her to do that for the past few weeks, and finally she agreed to it, so yay! So that morning, I hurried and jumped out of bed, trying to quickly get ready and dressed. The shelter actually closed at 10, but it was already 8:45. I had set an alarm on my iPad the night before to wake me up at 7 o'clock, trying to be prepared, but that morning it went off and I didn't hear it, so yeah, I ended up waking up at 8:45. But I live in a pretty small town, which means that you could reach certain places in like 10 minutes or less, so 8:45 wasn't actually that bad. But after me and my mom finished breakfast, got ready to leave, and were on our way, we realized we had absolutely no idea where we were going. I tried to find the shelter using a mapping app on my mom's phone, but for some reason it wasn't working like it was supposed to. So finally we decided to just call the shelter and ask for directions. And after several wrong turns in about 20 minutes, we finally found our way to the shelter. There were a lot of adorable kittens there, but specifically a seemingly Russian blue older kitten and a tiny fuzzy medium-haired kitten stood out to me. Me and my mom played with the two cats for about an hour and then decided to see what other options there were elsewhere. We searched all of the nearby shelters on the internet until finally we found what we thought to be a promising bunch. So we traveled to the town where the shelter is located. Meanwhile, I was thinking of names for kittens the whole way there. If you haven't noticed already, I was really hoping that my parents would let me get a kitten if we found one that we liked, so I was already thinking of names even though it wasn't official that we were getting one. It turns out, though, my brother was actually in that same town while we were there, so he came with us to help us look for kittens. We made it to the shelter and were just about to go look at the kitties when the people running the shelter told us that we would have to fill out an application that would have to be processed over the next 3 days in order to even touch the kittens. So we weren't too happy about that, but we decided to see what we could see of the kittens without filling out an application, only to find out that the kittens were in plexiglass boxes. You could barely even hear them, let alone touch them. Finally, the people running the shelter worked a little bit with us, and after filling out an application and having it looked over real quick, they allowed us to have one-on-one time with the kittens. We specifically were interested in 2 litters, a litter of all black female kittens with 1 orange male, or a litter of 3 female tabbies. After playing with them for about an hour and a half, it was decision time. My mom told me that I was allowed to pick 2 kittens, being that they would be able to entertain and promote better health and cleanliness than each other. But after all the kittens I had seen in the past few hours, it was a really tough decision. It ultimately came down to color, allergies, age, or personality. So finally, after about 20 minutes of discussing and thinking, we decided to get 2 of the female kittens from the litter of 3 females and 1 male. And I haven't mentioned this before, but I'm actually mildly allergic to cats, but I mean, when they're as cute as they are, who can resist? Their original names were actually Gabby and Becky, but I really liked the names Pop-Tart and Cupcake, so I changed them and they ended up sticking. But being that we weren't expecting to get kittens that day, we had absolutely no kitty supplies other than some old litter boxes from our old kitty. So we made a quick run to Petco to get the necessities, then headed home. My dad even made a temporary scratching post out of wood and carpet while we were on our way home, so that was really cool. We arrived home and let the little kitties out of their box, and immediately they started running around and exploring everything. And that is the story of how on Thursday, November 4th, 2021, I adopted not one, but two kittens, Pop Tart and Cupcake. As you can see, they're all black and absolutely adorable. They love to play, cuddle, give kisses, and meow you all the live long day. Cupcake isn't too fond of earbuds, as you can see, but it does make for an entertaining show. But I won't lie, having kittens isn't all fun and games. The first 3 nights were pretty rough because we allowed them to roam the house at night while one of us slept on the couch to make sure they didn't get into mischief, but they got into quite a bit of mischief. It was even worse when one of them was sleeping and the other wasn't because there was no one to play with her, and I will admit I legit cried a bit, but I wouldn't trade them for any other kitty in the world. They are actually very well behaved now, and we officially hit the 2-week mark just a couple of days ago. But I will say I don't want any mean comments about how they're black or how black cats are bad luck and things like that. I don't personally believe in luck, and I believe that kittens should not be criticized based off of their color. It was kind of difficult in the beginning to tell them apart, being that they were the same color, size, and they were both girls. But eventually we started to pick out the little quirks that made them unique. For example, it might be kind of difficult to tell this from a video view, but Pop-Tart is just a tad smaller than Cupcake now, and she also has a slightly more brown tint to her coat. I wish that I could have recorded the adopting experience, but we weren't even planning on getting kittens that day. We were just looking around at nearby shelters considering adopting. We just so happened to see these two little cuties at one of the shelters and decided that we wanted them, so I didn't really get the chance to record it. But even though I couldn't record this experience, I'm going to have plenty of chances to record Pop-Tart and Cupcake in the years to come. It's pretty much inevitable that they'll do something ridiculous and I'll have to record it, but be expecting a lot more of these two in my future videos. So yeah, a lot has happened in the last 2 months, and I apologize for not posting in such a long time, but I hope to see you here again when I post my next video, which hopefully should be very soon. Also, I hope that everybody had a very happy Thanksgiving, but it is time for me to get back on the video making highway now. Next stop, anything.